Hi everyone, it's Marianne and welcome to my Wasteless Life. In this video, I'll be giving you updates on my Pothos plants and share with you the paperback launch of my book, The Ultimate Guide to Pothos Plants. Thank you so much for joining me today, and if you're new, this is my Wasteless Life, where I take you along my plant and sustainable lifestyle journey and share with you some of my tips and tricks along the way. If you're a subscriber of mine, you probably found me through my Pothos videos, and Pothos plants make a big part of my plant collection. And today I'm going to give you updates on some of my Pothos plants. This is not going to be a complete Pothos plant collection update. I usually do that sometime around late summer, so this was just updates on the pothos plants that I acquired recently and some of my pothos plants that have been showing really exciting growth that I can't wait until the end of summer to share with you. And as mentioned earlier, the paperback version of my book, The Ultimate Guide to Pothos Plants, is now available. You can buy it on Amazon. The ebook version is also available if you want the ebook version, but the paperback version is finally out after months of working on it. I'm really excited to have a copy on my hands. You can look at it. It's so pretty. And I'm really excited. This is like my first published book, and I'm going to share with you more details on the book later on. But first, let me share with you some updates on my pothos plants. So if you've seen my 22 pothos varieties videos and how to tell them apart, or any of my pothos videos, you know that I consider 3 different plant species as pothos: the Epipremnum, some Philodendron varieties, and some Synapsis varieties. And I think I have about 3 plants in each group, like 3 Synapsis, 3 Philodendrons, and 3 Epipremnum plants that I am excited to share with you. And some of them I have newly acquired, and some of them have been with me for a while, but I haven't really talked about them ever since I've gotten them. But yeah, so let's get on with this video, and let me start with Synapsis Jade Satin. As you can see, it is pushing out new growth, and for a while it was touch and go with this plant because I did receive this as cuttings through a trade that I did last year, and half of the cuttings died while I was trying to propagate it, and while the remaining ones did propagate, it did take a while for it to start pushing out new growth. But now that it has started to push out new growth, it is doing it very fast. It has been pushing new growth consistently, and it's also been pushing out really large leaves, which I'm very excited about. But I actually took out one cutting from here and used it for a plant swap to get another plant that I'm going to show you later on, so watch out for that. But if you watch my recent plant swap in DC video, you know which plant that I've swapped it with. But the Synapsis Jade Satin is considered an uncommon, maybe even rare plant, but I've seen prices on this have gone down recently, so if you're in the market for one, might be a good time to buy one, or wait a little bit later when it also becomes a lot more cheaper. But compared to, let's say, a Philodendron or Epipremnum, this one actually packs a higher price than the variegated counterparts, because like I said, this one is a little bit more uncommon and rare to find, at least right now in the United States, but it is starting to become a little bit more common as the demand for this plant grows. And next one is my Synapsis Moonlight. This one was also considered on the rare and uncommon side last year, but this year is pretty much a common plant now that Costa Farms has added it into their Live Trends collection. But personally for me, I haven't found this or seen this in my local Lowe's or Home Depot, Whole Foods, Walmart, or anywhere that people have been finding the Synapsis Moonlight. I think I even had a blog where I tried to find this plant and I could never find it. And it's kind of like with the Synapsis Jade Satin, this was off to a rocky start. The cuttings that I got from my import was rooted, but it was having root rot, and most of that didn't survive except for one, so I decided to get another one when HG Farms had it available. But once it started growing and started taking off, it is pushing out continuous growth, and it has been pushing out a lot of new leaves. Like all of these side are new leaves, and these 3 at the back are the original leaves, which I'm actually thinking of cutting off and propagating. But if it gets too big for my Kia greenhouse cabinet, I have to put it out. We will see. But yeah, so far it's been growing and growing really well, and I'm really happy with the growth that is pushing out now. Next one is my Synapsis Silver Splash, and as you can see, it looks very similar to a Synapsis exotica or a Synapsis pectus argyrius, but this is the silver splash. What differentiated from those other two varieties is the silver variegation is more muted, more mosaic-like, and a little bit blurry. And this one I initially got as a single leaf cutting last year, which TikTok roasted me for paying $15 for a single leaf. But look at it now, it has 3 new leaves. Actually, it pushed out 5 new leaves, but I accidentally cut off the 2 leaves. With that cutting, it actually started to push out growth in 2 new places. So it started to form 2 new vines. And this one is a pretty slow grower compared to the Synapsis Jade, Satin, and the Synapsis Moonlight. So even though it already has a fully established root, this is one of my Pothos plants that I currently have in Leica, and the only Synapsis one that I have in Leica. So the root system is doing pretty good in semi-hydroponics, but the growth is not as fast compared to my other Synapsis plant, which is okay because this one is also in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet, and I want to keep it in the cabinet for as long as possible. So even if it has slow growth, I don't mind it. Before I continue talking about the rest of my Pothos plants, I just want to share with you the paperback version of my book, The Ultimate Guide to Pothos Plants. I did launch the ebook version of this last fall, and I got requests to come up with a paperback version, and it's finally here, and I'm really excited to have a copy in my hands, and it's available on Amazon. The link is down in the description. And if this is your first time hearing about my book, The Ultimate Guide to Pothos Plants, this book is the reference and instructional guide based on my Ultimate Guide to Pothos series here on YouTube, which will help you identify about 50 different pothos plant varieties, as well as give you instructions on its proper care and successful propagation. And at the end of it, there's also 2 bonus chapters from my next book, Houseplants Back to Basics, which tells you how to flush your plants and also help you understand yellowing leaves in your houseplants. And for a paperback version, this is a really high quality. The cover is glossy, as you can see the light reflected on it, and inside the pictures are full color, so you can properly look at what each plants look like, not just have their descriptions. And it's printed on premium white paper. So I'm really excited to have this available for you all. I might have signed copies available on my Etsy page at the end of this month, maybe early June. It's going to be a very limited amount though if I do have signed copies available on my Etsy. If you want to get a paperback version of my book right now, it is available on Amazon. The link is down below. Next one I want to talk about is my Philodendron Pothos plants, and I have 3 of them today as well. So the first one from my Philodendron Pothos is the Philodendron Brantianum. This is a wishlist plant from last year. I did get it off as a cutting from Facebook Marketplace for about $18. I know this is not as common in many areas, but I think it will be common soon. So if you find this online and you're tempted to buy it, I know this still pack a little bit of a hefty price online. So I would suggest buying it online if it probably costs more than $30 for an 4-inch plant. I would wait a little while until the prices go down, or if it becomes available in your area. Right now, this is only so much the growth that I've gotten from it. I try to propagate the moment I get more than 2 leaves. So like with this one, I did cut it from the top and try to stick it at the bottom, and hopefully that would grow into a new plant. But I also have one node over here that I originally cut and placed in. The new growth hasn't come in yet, but hopefully it does. But the leaf that it came in already died out. But normally that works for me. It would grow into a new plant. With philodendrons, they're very fast growers. I think compared to Epipremnum and Synapsis, in my opinion, they are the fastest growers and the easiest to propagate. So hopefully this is the same case when it comes to the Philodendron Brantiana. This one also requires a lot of watering. I guess it is in a terracotta pot, that's why the water wicks out a lot faster. But this one, I think I water pretty much twice or 3 times a week. So I either need to put it in a different pot that doesn't help it drain out a little bit faster, or maybe change up the soil into something that is less draining. This one eats up water a lot compared to my other pothos plants. The next one is one of my latest addition to my collection, is the Philodendron Cream Splash, and I got this from Green Street Gardens in Alexandria, Virginia very recently. I got it for about $14, and it was initially labeled as Philodendron Brazil, but I wasn't so sure if it was a Philodendron Brazil because the mature leaves, as you can see down here, has a very creamy variegation instead of a limey variegation. But as you can see from the new growth, which are back here, they're still very limey, but I think eventually they would fade into this more cream variegation. And if you look at the stem, you can see the white and green variegation on the stem itself. So this is why I suspect it is a Philodendron cream splash that is just mislabeled as a Philodendron Brazil. But it's not from Gabriella Plants, which also makes me skeptical if it is this cream splash. But if it is such a great sport. Like a regular Philodendron Brazil or any Philodendron plants that is vining or pothos-like, this one grows pretty fast. Like pretty much all of this that you can see on top are new growth. So I'm really excited about this one. And this one is in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet, but I can see this also leaving the cabinet really soon if it continues to grow at this rate. The last philodendron that I'm showing you is a cutting that I got from a plant swap, and I think this is a Philodendron Rio, but as you can see, the leaf is about to die out soon, and I'm kind of like worried about it. But it's currently propagating in water that has the root and growth solution in it, and that's what I use to propagate my plants, and for me it has worked pretty well. At first I was propagating it in sphagnum moss, but the sphagnum moss dries out so quick because I think it's under the grow light and also on a heat mat. So I started putting in water so that I don't have to worry about the moisture level as much, but it is pushing out new growth and some root growth, I think. So hopefully that happens before this leaf completely die out, but I can see it already starting to yellow and gonna die out pretty soon. So hopefully that happens before this one just becomes a node. And the last group of pothos is my Epipenum pothos, starting with this one. So I think I have identified this as the Emerald pothos because as you can see from the new growth, the lighter green is on the outside and the inside is darker green. With the other ones, it's kind of pretty hard to tell what side is darker, what side is not. All you can see is the variation of green, but with the new growth, it's a little bit more visible which side is lighter and which side is darker. So this makes it into an emerald pothos, and I'm really excited about this one. When I got this from the plant swap as well that I recently went to, this one wasn't rooted. The second to the last one is the strangular pothos or the Shangri-Ulala pothos, because this one is variegated, but like the new leaves that is coming out with, like this 1, 2, 3, 4 new leaves, hasn't shown any variegation. So maybe the new growth will show me variegation in the future. I'm not really sure, but it has 4 new growth leaves, and usually it started out as very wrinkly like this, and then it would open up to something like this, and then like this, until it opened up to this big, and eventually I think it will also wrinkle again and be like this. So it's been taking a while because this has been open for quite some time now, maybe a few weeks, maybe even months. It hasn't like wrinkled back into this shape, so I don't know if it will ever do it, but I think it would because the mature leaves have done it. But yeah, I'm excited about this one too. I might start propagating from this as well, since the root growth I think is growing, but honestly this has been slow growing when it comes to root growth. It's still in the same pot from when I first gotten it. I can't remember when I've gotten this. I think I got it late summer, early fall, and the root growth is not as fast compared to my other Epipenum plants. So for my plants for this old, I would have probably bumped it up to a 4-inch pot at least, but it's still in this 2-inch pot. And last but not least, this one. This is not boba. This is a Epipenum pinnatum variegata. I got this off a swap too at H Street Farms, and it did come with a leaf. It wasn't just a wet stick when I got it, but that leaf has since died off. But as you can see, a new leaf is starting to grow out of it. There's still not much root growth, or barely at all, to be honest. I was also propagating in sphagnum moss, but I kind of noticed that the wet stick was starting to get dried out because the sphagnum moss, same situation, under the grow light on a heat mat, it was drying out too quick. So I put it into this cup with the root and growth solution, and so far it's been doing well. I was first hesitant to put it in water because I didn't want the wet stick to rot, but I think the wet stick has calloused enough that it wouldn't rot, and I also put wax on it, like the cakey cloning paste, so that will also help it not rot. And so far it's doing well. Like I said, it's pushing out the new growth, but there's no roots yet. I'm really hoping it will have roots soon, because I have been propagating this for 2 to 3 weeks now, and I'm kind of like concerned about the root situation, but at least it is pushing out a new leaf, which is exciting, and it does look variegated, so I'm really happy about that. But yeah, those are the Pothos updates that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you have any questions or suggestions for me, please let me know down in the comments. And once more, the Ultimate Guide to Pothos Plants paperback version is now available on Amazon. The ebook version is also still out. If you prefer an ebook version of it, please do check it out. And while you're there, please also follow my author page on Amazon. I would appreciate it. And if you have purchased my book, thank you so much. I would love it if you also leave a review on Amazon. I would love to know your feedback on my book. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, I hope you subscribe. I come up with houseplants and sustainable lifestyle videos every week. And if you haven't yet, go check out these videos up here until my next one. But until then, I see you. I appreciate you. Take care of yourself and each other, and have a plentiful day. Bye.